talking about Game of Thrones. If you are a Game of Thrones fan, you are probably theorizing about what is going to happen in Season 8, the final season of the series, and you have a ton of time to do so because it's not premiering until 2019. As you can probably guess by the title of this video, today I want to talk about what I think will happen to the characters of the Game of Thrones in the final season. Despite the amount of death that we have had in the Game of Thrones series, there are still quite a few characters left alive, so I'm going to try to break them down into groups to talk about it. Just to be clear, there are spoilers ahead, so if you have not watched Game of Thrones and you do not want anything to be spoiled, I recommend waiting to watch this video. The first group I want to talk about is Dani and Jon. We are left off in Season 7 with the two of them hooking up, leading us to believe that there will be some kind of relationship between the two of them. Dani has a conversation with Tyrion about not being able to bear any more children, and we find out that the only reason she thinks that is from the witch doctor that birthed her first child. When she has the realization that she got this information from a witch doctor that she couldn't really trust, she then hooked up with Jon Snow. This is leading all of us fans to theorize that her and Jon will produce a child. With that being the case, I do not think that Game of Thrones will allow the two of them to live. There's no way that both are living and there is going to be a happy ending. That is not the way that the Game of Thrones works. First, let's talk about what I think will happen with Jon Snow. There are a ton of theories on what people think will happen to Jon, but personally what I think will happen is that at the end of this war, the White Walkers are going to be winning and Jon is going to have to make a huge sacrifice. I believe that in a similar manner to his uncle Benjen, he is going to have to become half White Walker, half human, and he is going to be able to keep the peace between the two, but it will mean that he can never get past the wall ever again, so he won't be able to interact with his family or his friends. I think that this kind of becomes full circle since Benjen sacrificed his life for Jon, and Jon will then be sacrificing his life for his family, and he will basically be able to have this all happen over again if he becomes the new Night King or if he just becomes this in-between character. That means that the White Walkers could eventually wage war again. Now let's talk about Dani. Okay, so personally, I don't think that either one of them is going to live, but if one of them is to live, I think that it will be her. I think that she will most likely die during childbirth, just like Jon's mother and Tyrion's mother. It happens a lot in this time period, and I think that that would be a way that the show would really break your heart. Next is the Stark family. Currently, there is Sansa, Arya, and Bran. Let's start off with Sansa. I personally think that Sansa will survive. She's become a really tactical character and she's proven herself as a worthy leader. So I think after the war, she will become Queen or Lady of the North, and I think that she will be ruling alongside Gendry. We all know that she needs some kind of partner in her life that is good to her. But more than that, what it would create is a Stark and Baratheon relationship. We never got the Robert Baratheon and Lyanna Stark relationship, and I think that this will fulfill that kind of bond, and it'll just be a really great way to kind of wrap up that story. Arya has proven herself a warrior, and I think that Jon will see that and allow her to fight alongside him in the war to come. I think that she will survive, and that after all is said and done, the king or queen of the Seven Kingdoms will offer her the twins. But I don't really know that she would take it. I really think that more than that, she's going to travel out of Westeros, which she has talked about doing several times. I think finishing her list, ending the war, she's just going to want out and she's going to leave. Which would allow for a really cool spin-off about what Arya is doing outside of Westeros. Now, I also think that Bran could survive the war, and I think that he will do so by becoming the Three-Eyed Raven and not fighting during the war. If he does fight, however, I think that he may warg into a dragon, which could be really cool. The next group to talk about is the Lannisters. We have Cersei, Jaime, and Tyrion all still alive. Let's start with Cersei. I think Cersei will die early on in Season 8, and I can't tell you how excited I am for that. If you don't already know about the prophecy, there is a prophecy about Cersei saying that the Valonqar will kill her, which translates from High Valyrian into the little brother. Cersei has lived her life believing that Tyrion will be the one to fulfill this prophecy, both because he is her younger brother and because he is her little brother in stature. And a lot of fans really want that to happen. They want Tyrion to get that glory. But there are other fans, myself included, who believe that Jaime, her younger brother by a few minutes, will be the one to fulfill the prophecy. It will mean a lot for Jaime's character arc if he is able to kill Cersei and get a little bit of redemption. So let's move on to what I think will happen to Jaime. Many believe that with Jaime taking off from Cersei, that he may end up surviving the Game of Thrones, but unfortunately I don't think that that's going to be the case. I like Jaime's character, and I think there is a lot that they can do with it, but I don't think that they will keep him alive. I think that directly after killing Cersei, the Mountain is going to take him out. I think that Jaime will know that, though, going into the situation. I think that there are going to be a lot of events led by Euron and Cersei that are going to lead Jaime to kill her. He's going to go into the situation sacrificing himself. He'll say, I know that I can get close enough to her. If I kill her, this all will stop, and then the Mountain will kill me. And in that, they both will die together. The last of the Lannister clan is Tyrion Lannister. I think that he will fight alongside Jon and Dani in the name of their unborn child, the rightful heir to the throne, and he will survive and be granted the rights to Casterly Rock, which was Lannister property prior to this war. Now, I know that there are a ton more characters that we could talk about, but this is where I'm going to leave off for today. If there are other character groups you want to see me talk about, leave those down below in the comments.